Welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about when to go pro as an astrologer. If you're just starting out as an astrologer, or you've been a hobbyist astrologer for a long time and you may be considering going professional and taking astrology up as a business, either as a side business or as your main business, there are some chart indications that come through that can tell you when would be a good time for you to go professional or go pro. If you've ever thought about becoming an astrologer, just write yes in the comments below. That'd be great. I'd love to know how many of you are actually on the brink of considering to do this. As a modern astrologer, which I am, I take the planet Uranus as the indication, as the planet that signifies astrology in anyone's chart. And the actual position of Uranus in your chart by house sign and its condition will indicate the type of astrology you are likely to be interested in. But the timing of actually going professional as an astrologer or going public with it can also be indicated when Uranus makes a significant contact to your chart. Uranus will be transiting anyway, but when it crosses certain points of your chart or makes aspects to particularly your midheaven, that is a good indication of a time to go professional with your astrology. As Uranus transits your chart, it will make a conjunction to your midheaven, then a sextile, then a square, then a trine, and then an opposition. And over your lifetime, it will make several aspects to your midheaven. The point is that what we are looking for is a good one for you to say go public, where Uranus is making a significant aspect to your midheaven. So what you have to do is go into your ephemeris or your forecasting ability, or speak to your astrologer or myself, and find out when Uranus will make the next significant aspect to your midheaven. This will be the perfect time. It's usually tighten it down to perhaps a 6-month window, or even a specific month or week when we're getting very tight on your chart, to determine what would be a good time to be launch day, to promote your business, to go public with your business, your astrology business, and to go out into the world, let the public know you as Mary Jo, the astrologer, or Fred as the astrologer, and that is a good time. So if you're looking for timing to, maybe you're considering next year or next few months to actually go professional with your astrology business, then you would want to look at how is Uranus making contacts via transit to your midheaven. So the second point that you're going to be looking at to find out when will be a good time to go professional with an astrology business is in your solar return chart. I do have some other videos about solar returns up here, and I'll put the link there also below. There are 2 specifically good years for you to launch businesses, not necessarily even astrology, but to launch businesses and go public. The first one is when the solar return sun is in your 6th house, which is work and business, where you can create a job for yourself through your daily ritual, and the effort you put in will be shown through the 6th house. When the solar return sun is in your 6th house, that is a good year. Your ultimate best year will be when your solar return sun is in your 10th house. That's at the very top of the chart, and that will be a great indication that this is the year for you to go public, let the world know who you are, promote yourself in some way, build your profession, build your business in any form at all. Clearly it's not just for an astrology business, but when the solar return sun is in your 10th house, you will be propelled almost into the public eye, and you can take advantage of that. So if you're calculating your solar return suns and you're finding out that your birthday is next March and you're going to have a solar return sun in the 10th house, that will be an excellent time to launch your astrology business. The third method to find a good time to start an astrology business is looking at your secondary progressions. If you find that your secondary progressed moon will be contacting your midheaven and therefore passing through your 10th house anytime soon, that is an excellent period for you to start an astrology business. Any business, but we're focusing on astrology businesses. So at the point when the secondary progressed moon conjoins your midheaven, that's the beginning of it, and then you will probably have 12 months to 18 months where the moon remains in the 10th house, stimulating and promoting and helping you launch this business. That is a huge indicator for a business as well. Another way to use secondary progressions is when you get a progress new moon. This is when your progress sun and your progress moon come together to create a conjunction. That's known as the progress new moon. Now clearly this only happens every 29 years, but if you happen to have that new beginnings coming up for you in the next 12 months or so, that as well is an ideal time for you to start something new, to build from that point of conjunction at the start of that synodic cycle. This is an excellent time for you personally to get stuff together, and if you know it's coming and you're still in the balsamic phase, this is preparation, and then at the conjunction you can actually move forward with that. So if you happen to have a second retrogressed new moon coming up, certainly use that as well. Also, looking at the secondary progressions, if you happen to have a birth chart where Uranus is retrograde, and so Uranus will be retrograde in your chart, there may be some point in your life when Uranus will actually station direct by secondary progression. So you would go to your secondary progress chart and you would see, is Uranus actually still retrograde, and is it going to station and therefore turn direct in the next 12 months, because that will be a huge indicator of moving forward with astrology. Now, not everyone will have this. You may just happen to have it. If you have Uranus retrograde in your birth chart, that's your first clue to go and look for this scenario, and then you would take it one step further, check in the ephemeris or cast a chart for now, your secondary progress chart, and actually discover if Uranus is making a station, a secondary progress station, direct, and that will free you up astrologically as well. That is a huge indicator, but it's very few people who will actually experience that. The next indicator we're going to have of when to go pro as an astrologer is looking at your solar arc directed chart. With a solar arc directed chart, we have you would typically do a bi-wheel. You've got your natal chart in the middle. You would then have your solar arc directed chart on the outside. And what we are looking for are connections to your natal Uranus. Your natal Uranus, which is astrology, being stimulated by aspects from the solar arc directed chart. So when considering solar arc directions, we are looking for any planets that are making significant aspects to your natal Uranus. The three main planets that we are looking for to get your business going that will connect into Uranus is the Sun, Mars, or Jupiter. So the Sun is always a driver for a chart. It's your life and who you are and the whole essence of who you are. Mars is the action planet. This is a planet that will get things moving for you, get things going for you. So you would want to consider any conjunction from solar arc Mars to your natal Uranus as it's significant. And also then we look at Jupiter, which is the planet of growth and prosperity, and where you're reaching forward in life, where you're just leaning a little bit over the cliff. That's a Jupiter thing. So if Jupiter makes a connection either via conjunction or aspect to your natal Uranus, this will stimulate that urge to create through astrology and stimulate your Uranus and its own complex. With solar arc directions, you're also going to consider whether the solar arc ascendant or midheaven are making a contact to your Uranus. The best way will be through a conjunction, but it could be the other Ptolemaic aspects as well of sextile, square, trine, or opposition, making and stimulating your Uranus. So there are many factors that astrologically you can see when you're forecasting to look at. You've got the transits, you've got secondary progressions, you have solar arc directions, and you've got solar returns. And all of those will have indications whether this will be a good time for you to start an astrology business. Another way to use the astrology forecasting to indicate when is a good time for you to begin a business and go professional is through the actual transits of Mars. For myself, this is what spurred me to actually go public. I've been doing astrology for years and years and years and dabbling, and eventually I went public, and it was under a transit of Mars. It was actually, I was having a Mars return, and it wasn't just a one-hit return. That particular year, Mars did a triple hit transit to my natal Mars and created the energy drive that I needed to actually move things forward. And that particular year, when I had this triple Mars return, it was almost as though that was the time, as I say, Mars gets you off the couch, and I actually did something. It took me a while to realize really what I wanted to do, that I could go forward with astrology, because before that time I'd only ever considered just it as a hobby or something like that. And that was a year when that actually occurred for me. Now, you will get a Mars return every 2 years as Mars comes around the chart and comes back to its natal Mars position for you, but you will not get a triple Mars return. That only happens apparently every 26 years, just the way Mars does its retrograde cycle. But what you need to do is get in your list of information that's coming up, all of the solar returns and everything I've just mentioned, and get the dates down to find out when are you having your next Mars return. Is this going to be significant for you? Because you can then tap into that energy that is being brought together and focused, and you'll be able to use it in your life in many ways. But specifically, if you're going to be launching an astrology business, this would be the perfect time. You need to look forward to find out when your next Mars return will be. It might be in the next 6 months when you're planning to go public with your astrology business. This can be added to the layers of information about when will be a good time for you to launch your astrology business. Typically, astrology businesses start slowly. You start off doing your family's chart, you then move on to your friend's chart. Eventually, you're asking everyone you meet to give you their chart details. And then one day, someone who you've never met before approaches you and says, "Can you read my chart?" This is the indication now that, hey, maybe there's something here, maybe I'm good at this, and which of course I believe you are. This will be a good time for you to consider setting yourself up in business as an astrologer. So typically this is a process, the dawning of the understanding that you could probably become a professional astrologer and have a small astrology business. Many astrologers have small businesses, work on the side, and this is how it begins. You start off with your first client and then it slowly grows from there. The fact that you're even watching this is an indication in itself that you need to look into your forecasting material, find out when these critical dates are coming up for you, and then decide if you're going to launch and go, I'm a professional now, get some business cards, open a website and move forward. So let me know in the comments below what triggered you to become an astrologer. When did you decide? What day was it for you? And looking back, were there astrological significators in your forecast material that shows that astrology is the road for you? Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.